Mo and I and Richie. These are all pictures taken at Vilseck, Germany, where I was stationed in the 7th Constabulary Tank Training Center. We stayed there 4 years at Vilseck. And this was our first quarters, set of quarters, which those in the background are BOQs where I lived before Mo came over and we were married. These pictures of shortly, those are our two dogs, Arno and Pia. I had Arno, the one with the brown face that went out of the picture on the right, as a bachelor. And when Mo came over and we were married, why, she bought Pia to keep him company. So we had a male and a female, both German Shepherds. Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you talk? I was a captain then in the Army, and you'll notice that most of our pictures, the first few reels here, I'm always in uniform because these were in the days of the occupation when you had to wear a uniform all the time. Civilian clothes weren't authorized. This is a peek at Richie in bed in the crib there when he was a couple months old. And this is Frankie Basham and Truman Basham, Captain Basham, who lived across the street from us and were very good friends of ours. We still see them. They visited us many times, and we visited them since retiring and before. This is throwing a stick for Arno to catch and retrieve. He was pretty good at that. Very pretty dog. But Peter was smarter, as you'll see later. There he goes again. Okay, here is Mrs. Basham taking Richie. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's you. Yeah, that's Mo taking Richie out. and Pia. Now she's asked Pia to open the door, and it didn't work. She told her to go back and do it again. Come on, Pia, get with it. Open the door. Your mother has Richie. Mo has Richie in her arms. There she goes. She opens the door. And Arno's there to get the credit, but he didn't do it. And that's Rich when he was about 5 or 6 months old? Something like that. 1951. There he is in the crib outside the house, or rather in the playpen outside the house. Why don't you take it over?
I think he's probably about a year now. He's standing up, jumping. Oh, there is. Okay. Music. Here's Richard learning to walk. He must be near to a year. With his father helping him.
Do you remember, baby, last September, how you held me tight each and every night? Oh, baby, how you drove me crazy, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore. There's no use in me crying.
This is outside our quarters in Vilseck, or on the post, or whatever, in Germany. This is my next door neighbor and good friend, Frankie Basham. And I believe it's our maid, I don't believe that's Herta. It's, I can see the face. I think it was our first maid. I've forgotten her name right now. No, that was a nurse. Here's Richard in the snow. So he was born in February. So this must be, maybe, maybe a year. This is the little town that was just outside our post. That is Vilsec, and that is at yes. This is Daddy taking Richard for a walk through the town.
This is the woods outside of Vilsec, between the. It's called the Phantom Highway. It was named that because the U.S. didn't know it existed, but it's a road from the training area that went on out to the Autobahn that went on between Bayreuth and Nuremberg. And this is Richie looking out of our car. That car was my first automobile, a 1947 Mercury Club Coupe. We switched now to Garmisch, and that's Mo getting up from sitting under a tree in downtown Garmisch, walking across the street. This is, I believe, in 52, spring of 52, because we were down there for our first anniversary. 51 rather, spring of 51, our first anniversary. I guess that's me and the suntans, so it must be summer. Yeah, we honeymooned there in May of 51. 50. May, we honeymooned in May, we anniversary in 51. Why don't you?
This is back in at our quarters again, outside, where Richard is sunning. I believe that he's still under a year old. In fact, I think that this picture was earlier than the ones we've seen previously. I think he might be more like 6 to 9 months. I wish we knew for sure, so we can be more accurate. Wish we had been more accurate. His daddy is in the Eisenhower jacket, which is not, was a real antique right now. That was used when we married, and then it was disco.
Before we wore green.
Yes, then we went to green. This is our maid Herta. She came from the Russian zone of Germany. She walked across, escaped, so to speak, and she had a brother that worked for the colonel, our colonel, so that's why she came to the area, and she was a sweet girl.
Well, I guess I'm standing in the hollow broken dream. That's the way sometimes.
You'll notice I'm wearing armor insignia there, it being a tanker, and the patch I had on is my old 103rd Infantry Division patch, which I was in World War II.
I think Richie is now well over a year, maybe a year and a half even, and I think this is the little boy next door that we saw earlier in the beginning, Joe Sterrett's son. This is a visit we took to Kitzingen, Germany, to visit real good friends of ours, they were not, he was a lieutenant colonel then, Fitzpatrick. And This is in their backyard. They had lovely quarters. He was a battalion commander.
Senior man of town.
And this is their backyard. They had a little girl the age of Richard.
Right next to the hospital.
And she'll be coming up shortly. And Robbie at that time was probably about 3 months. And I went to visit for a week as a sort of a vacation away from out of the boondies. That's Cornelia, their daughter. She'll be coming up shortly. And Robbie at that time was probably about 3 months. And I went to visit for a week as a sort of a vacation away from out of the boondies. That's Cornelia, their daughter. And that is Robbie, probably 3 months or so. That's Richie with his father playing ball, and Cornelia Fitzpatrick. Richard and Cornelia looking at the baby. That's Colonel Fitzpatrick, now deceased. Mother with Richard and Robert, dressed alike.
This is still in Vilsack, and this is the dog's pen, which the housemeister made for us. So they were enclosed all the time. And the bigger one, and that's Richie, and that little boy on the right, that blonde boy, is Larry Basham, Captain Basham. And here's the Weimaraner, Dina. You just got a glimpse of there. There she is. Robert asked us, Rodman rather, your Uncle Robin asked us to get a Weimaraner in Germany and send it to him, which we did. That's a pup, a couple months old, and we air freighted her rather, to Rodman in Michigan.
This is Robbie, and oh, now we go to a Thanksgiving in Michigan that my mother and my family had while we were overseas, and they made a movie and sent it to us. Richard was a baby, and I was expecting Robbie at the time this was made. That's my sister putting on her Ingrid Bergman look. She always, everyone told her she looked like Ingrid Bergman. This is a note that they of course, wanted us to know that it says, "Hello, Mo, Dick, Richie, and question mark," and that's my brother Rodman. This is his girlfriend at the time, Rodman's girlfriend. And I guess that's him being... This is Healy. My mother later married him. She was just dating him at the time, carving the turkey. My brother Robert and his wife Ollie. That's my brother-in-law Frank. My sister. My brother, his wife Ollie. My brother Robert and his wife Ollie. And my sister, Ingrid Bergman again. My sister Barbara. Yeah. Robert, my brother Rodman with my sister Barbara doing the dishes with Ollie, and my mother.
but we're fish eggs.
Well, I spent my whole lifetime where the sunshine found excuses for not hanging round. I squandered emotion on the slightest of notion, and the first easy loving I found. Soon all the good times, daytime, playtime, like colors run together and fade. Oh Lord, if you hear me, touch me, and keep me.
Well, here we are up in Nice, still in Nice, with Mo and Frankie Basham.
There's times when I've trembled, my mind's remembered the days that just crumbled away.
These are some children and donkeys that were going down the street. That carriage you just saw was a Phaeton. This is Truman Basham, the back of Truman as he walks across the street. This is my plunge into the Mediterranean, and it was cold. As I say, I was the only one that... Frankie's standing there getting her feet wet, but that's all. I didn't go very far with that swim. I came right back in. It was ice cold in April.
And I ain't got much.
And that's 47 Mercury.
This is, I have Robbie in my arms, and Richard is growing up. They're both growing up. This 47 Mercury we pushed all over Germany, or had Germans push us. It always would down us, and no one knew how to fix it, and
51 and 52, no parts.
no one seemed to know in those days. Well, wasn't he cute?
And Robbie, yeah.
He doesn't look like a little Chinaman anymore, does he? His eyes are getting... And there's Daddy with his two sons.
Slowly sinking down. The moon is surely rising. This old world must still be spinning round.
This is the house we moved to in Vilsec, which was the commander's quarters. Very nice house, probably the nicest we ever had. The commander was a bachelor, and since I was the number 2 man, I was lucky enough to get the commander's quarters. You see Rich and Rob and Mo on the patio with Pia in the background. Oh no, that isn't Pia, that's a puppy we had that got run over and was hit by a GI truck, and her hips are in a cast. And you notice this wall here, Richie fell off that head first. This is my father, one of the few pictures of him. We were visiting the toll house in Whitman, Massachusetts. The toll house that the cookies are named after. And this is after dinner. We're leaving and just getting in our car. This was an automobile that a 53 country sedan Ford that we got. That's my mother and my father and my brother Jerry getting in the green and yellow country sedan. That was 1953, by the way, the summer of '53. We drove that car until Fort Leavenworth and sold it in '62. That's Mo and Doris, my brother's wife, Doris, getting in the car now. Jerry holding the door.
You can sing this song.
I don't know where we are.
So close your eyes. You can close your eyes.
That's Robbie learning to walk. How time flies. Richard and his whatever. Or is that Robbie? Richard? No, Robbie. It's got, oh, that's Richard.
Louisiana.
When I'm gone.
No, this is back in Germany. It's not that we returned, we just have the films mixed up a bit. This is where we spent our honeymoon in Garmisch at the Riesersee. That's the lake.
This is Brenna.
Now we're going to
Going to Austria.
Austria. This is
Looking down into Innsbruck.
okay.
This is looking back from Brenna down into Innsbruck, down the Inn River. My troop, cavalry troop, captured this city and the village of Brenna during World War II. We're actually on our way to Austria with the Bashams, and on down to Italy. Now, this is the switch back to Germany in the winter.
This is a little bit mixed up, the tape. We're back now to Richard being, Richard seems to be about 6 months old here. And this was our first maid because Herta, the one you saw previously, she came after this maid. And this is back in the little town of, I believe, of Vilsek again.
Vilsek in the winter.
In the winter, yes. So this is 1951 again. And this is, again, the ski.
Yeah, this is between Vilsek and Hamburg, just outside of Vilsek, about 5 miles. A little slope and some open snow that we had. And I borrowed some GI skis from the special service people and tried out a little after 10, 15-year absence. There I go, skating away in the background there. This is Basham. The snow is very slow then. This is a poor attempt at a Geländersprung. It didn't have enough speed, as you'll see.
Frankie Basham, Truman Basham again. We were very close, as you can see. And some of their friends, can't remember their names. Richard, probably, I don't less than a year
These are the first quarter.
with his mother, and our first quarters again.
At the party chicken stand, Carmelita, hold me tighter. I think I'm sinking down, and I'm all strung out on heroin on the outskirts of town.
I think he's about 6 months here, really.
Playing solitaire with my pearl handle. Give me no
His favorite sport today.
and I'm all strung out
On the potty, Richard.
outskirts of town. Carmelita, hold me tight. I think I'm sinking down, and I'm all strung out on heroin on the outskirts of
Probably
town.
slapped his little hand, I think. And I would have if he hadn't been taking it.
What if I fall in love with you? Just like normal.
Oh, so sad.
When I go down to get a job sometimes, it seems people can read my mind and make money disappear while they're talking sweet and kind. Well, in some ways I am like a child. You never seem to know it. And if a kind word ever crossed your mind, you never tried to show it.
Those stoves, they lit up a couple rooms. Put the stove in.
Well, in some ways I'm like a
We had a porcelain stove that you probably saw there.
This porcelain stove was located in one corner of the room where 4 rooms came together, all shared a corner, and the stove heated all 4 rooms. And you could stoke it from any one of those rooms. It's made of porcelain. This is very common. These were old German quarters and very small quarters. Our first quarters, it feels like.
They say your words are stupid and your plans are only schemes. Truth is simple, but seldom ever seen. Let nothing come.
This is Robbie. I don't know how old, but
A little oriental.
our little Oriental boy. Because I took him to the PX once in a carriage, and as I was talking to the sales clerk, I heard someone behind me say, "Oh, what a cute little Oriental boy." I'd never noticed it. Oh, this is a hat show at the Officers' Wives Club. We made crazy hats. They had to be made, handmade. That's Miss, that's yours truly,
With a helicopter
with a helicopter on top of something. I can't recall.
This is in Grafenberg. Oh no, this is in Vilsek again. Mo coming out with the baby, and Hilda Fitzpatrick were either going to or coming from the christening of Robbie, and I can't tell which. They were there, and Colonel Fitzpatrick's parents were Robbie's godfather and godmother, and the Colonel Fitzpatrick and Hilda were acting as the proxies. He was about 6 weeks old then, Robbie was. And he was christened at Grafenberg. Yeah, this is coming out, and there's the chaplain over at Grafenberg, not Vilsek. Coming out of the Grafenberg chapel. With Hilda carrying Robbie, the chaplain on the left, myself, and Fitz over on the right.
They say that love's a gentle thing, but it's all
This is on the way back. We're jumping back and forth here, but this is on the way up from the Riviera, which you mentioned some time ago down there. We're now in Paris on the way back to Germany. That is the Plastic Concorde, I think. Let me just get a flashback there and see. That's the needle. That's Cleopatra's Needle that you just saw off to the extreme right. There it is. Yeah, and I think this is the Plastic Concorde, and that's Captain Basham. Here we are in a restaurant on the Champs-Élysées, sitting down there, enjoying the sun. Lots of outdoor restaurants like that. Everybody sits out and enjoys the good weather. They don't have as much of it as we do. This is a Parisian restaurant. Yes, this would be back in 1951, right? This is looking out of our hotel window. I say hotel. We stayed way up in almost a flea-bitten hotel way up in about the 8th floor. I was always concerned the place might catch on fire. It was a rickety old place, but it was all we could find. Finding a hotel room in Paris was not easy. Here we are with the Bashams again. This looks like a picnic. Yeah, this is a picnic back in the Vilsek area. There's Richie on the lower right. That's Larry Basham right in front of us, the little blonde there. That's Larry, and that's Richie on the right.
He's dead also.
Larry died in an automobile accident about age 25 or so. I think this is back in our backyard at Vilsek. This is a fishing trip that we went on about 20 miles outside of Vilsack. We took and picnic there, as you can see. The kids and everybody are there. Now we're in Louisiana. When we were stationed at Camp Polk, this is Leesville, Louisiana. I don't know how this upside down picture got here, but this is Leesville, Louisiana. And that's how Robbie and I looked upside down. Now I got it straightened out. Here's Rob. This is a little carport that we converted into a play area by fencing it in for the kids. This is where Michael was born, but he hasn't arrived quite yet. Maybe he has. This is summertime, apparently.
Richard is about 2 years old, and Robbie is 1.
Where those fishing boats with their sails afloat, if I could only see that familiar sunrise through sleepy eyes, how happy I'd be.
Camp Polk, Louisiana. Really, Leesville, Louisiana.
The Bayou Country.
The Bayou Country. There's Daddy. I'm expecting Michael, so I won't be in the picture, I don't believe. Only briefly.
Just the top part.
It's summer, and Michael was born July 14th. Now we're in Massachusetts. We're at
Norumbega Park.
You take it.
We're in Norumbega Park in Massachusetts, a entertainment center where that's Gene Healy, Mike's cousin. That's Gene with Robbie. That's Gene, Robbie, and Mike. Richie, rather, and Robbie on a miniature train. This actually preceded our trip to... No, I guess it didn't. This is back in Massachusetts. This is the toll house in Whitman, Massachusetts. We're just leaving. This is Grandma and Doris and Mazetta. That's Doris. And here's my mother, Grandma. This is the next summer from the previous toll house picture, I think. I think my father died in between. So this is Jerry there. This is Michael.
This is Michael in the car, I believe in our car. Just before we made our trip to Massachusetts from Fort Riley, he fell and fractured his skull. So we were very careful. This is back at Fort Riley. Fort Leavenworth?
No, not Leavenworth.
Fort Riley, Kansas. And these are friends of ours that with a little boy that is very blonde, very fair. And Richard. This is Robert. That's Michael in the inside the playpen.
There he is.
Probably 6 months or so, 6 to 8 months. Richard and Robert in a tug of war. Here are all three of them. This is in Fort Riley, Kansas, in front of our quarters. We lived in tremendous quarters, huge, where I lost them all the time, in little rooms in the basement and in the upstairs and on the very large quarters. Michael must be about 15 months because he didn't walk until about then. It's a picnic in the Fort Riley area. That's Michael.
Maybe he's right. Maybe I'm wrong.
This is a friend of ours. That's Doris and Jim Williams. They're not yet in the picture. That's Richard and Robbie. And this is Jim Williams with Richie. There's Robbie. That's me with the black hair. That's Daddy. That's me with Mike. There's cute little Mike. Mike had to go. At least he was trained.
Maybe he's wrong. Maybe what he's saying is the way it should be. Somebody tried to explain it to me.
Mike and Robbie go on a boat ride with our friends.
I just wanna know if he's still happy.
Mike again. My mother with a beer in her hand. Debbie Bright. Richard. This was a reunion in Michigan at a lake somewhere around Detroit. My sister Barbara, her mother-in-law, my brother-in-law Frank Zupan. There's Robbie. There's Richard. There's Mike. Debbie Bright and Robbie are having a little disagreement, and I think she's winning. They're the same age, about a month apart. Here's Michael and Uncle Frank. Debbie picking up her cousin. All three of them fighting, all two brothers fighting over one. My mother going into hysterics watching her grandchildren. Michael is the kingpin around here, the baby. Here's Robbie showing off and floating with underwater, going underwater. Everyone was amazed that he could do this at age 2. And Barbara's with him at the moment. That's my mother and her new husband, Healy Wolfington, in Pontiac, Michigan. This is at the zoo in Detroit with my sister-in-law, Ollie, and my sister-in-law, Pauline, who is expecting and real proud of it. Richard and Robbie. And I don't know who this family is, some cousins of ours. Oh, here, Debbie and Richard and Robbie.
I ride an old plane. I leave. I'm going. They feed in the coulees, they water in the drum. Their tails are all matted, their backs are all raw. Ride around real slow. They're fiery and snuffy, are raring to go.
Okay, we're back in Germany again. This is another tour in Germany, and this is Dick's mother. Here, you want to take it?
Yeah, this that you just saw, that was Bad Kitzingen, Germany. We were stationed in Kitzingen, and she came over to see us, and that would be 1956. And we're now on leave down in Garmisch. And you see, the occupation is over now, so I'm in civilian clothes in Germany for change in this picture. This is the beautiful exterior of some of those buildings in Garmisch, which of course is a recreation center in the southern tip of Bavaria, right just below the Austrian border, just above the Austrian border. This is just a simple street scene in downtown Garmisch, the village of Garmisch. Garmisch-Partenkirchen, where the Olympics have been held, by the way, the Winter Olympics. That's my mother and I talking, chatting over there. Mazetta taking the pictures, I guess. Has my mother on the right. 3 Bavarians, and they're not in costume as far as they're concerned. That's their Sunday dress wear. Beautiful paintings on the sides of the house. They have murals on the outside of buildings, stucco buildings. This is the Ibsee Hotel that we went out to in Garmisch, and you see them. They have water skiing there and speedboat races, and this is just up about 5 or 10 miles, about 5 miles up the valley from the Riesensee Hotel where we honeymooned. And this is the Zugspitz Mountain, which you see from the Ibsee. Looking up on the very top of that is the Schneeferner house where we spent part of our honeymoon. This is the Ibsee.
Don't know when I've been so blue. Don't know what come over you.
This is the carriage used by the post there. You notice that little insignia on the side, that's the telegraph and postal system, which is combined in Germany. This is that was Garmisch. We've left Garmisch now, and we went down to Innsbruck, my mother and I. Innsbruck is where I occupied during World War II, after the war was over. And we drove down there from Garmisch, which is only an hour or so's drive, to see if I could find the house where I lived for about 3 months after the war. And that's the house. During the occupation days. As Mazetta stayed home, she was resting, expecting Kathleen.
Just what I had, but honey, now I do. And don't it make my brown eyes, don't it make my brown eyes.
Yeah, this is my mother. We stopped by the wayside to look at some flowers on the pretty countryside. This is between Garmisch and Innsbruck. These pictures were taken on the way back up. And this is actually Austria now, just over the line, a few miles south of the German border. Now we're up in, we went up to the Zugspitz, and these are pictures taken in the Zugspitz. They have snow there all year round, and the ski season runs 365 days. This is looking out into a storm, I guess.
Here I go, once again, with my suitcase in my hand.
This is a trip we took down to Austria when we were at Berchtesgaden. And this is Salzburg, Austria. Beautiful water fountains with Grandma. And, I think this is the interior of King Ludwig's castle in Oberammergau. These are the grape vineyards in the castle outside of Würzburg, Germany, along the Main River. This is a visit we made to Rothenburg when Grandma was over visiting us. It's the walled city that was spared by Patton's army. This was a Sunday parade of huntsmen going through town. This tweed coat I'm still wearing 20 years later, 25 years later almost.
Irish tweed.
Yeah, Irish tweed, which Mo gave me in Kitzingen. Tailored by Officers Club Tailor.
Whatever we had going ain't showing anymore. Where there used to be laughter, now there's only pain. I feel like you're an island, and I'm drifting from your shore, out in the troubled waters up over my head. And I'm going down slow, going down for the last time. Just having goodbye, the sink of my soul, and I'm going down slow.
Those are pictures of the Taube River. Rothenburg on the Taube is the name of the town, and that was Rothenburg. Now we're up in Bad Kitzingen, just north of Kitzingen, where we went up one Sunday afternoon to see the flower gardens with Grandma and the three boys. And that's Mazetta, Grandma, and the three boys. You see the pretty gardens. This is a spa or resort town where people go to the hot baths and so forth for treatment. You can see that Mazetta is expecting Kathleen.
had a man, and I'm going down slow, going down for the last time. You said goodbye.
Hi, Mikey.
And I'm going down slow, going down for the last time. You had me goodbye. You think of my soul, and I'm going down slow.
Yeah, this is looking down from the castle in Würzburg, overlooking the Main River. Würzburg is nearby, near Kitzingen, where we were stationed. Grandma and the 3 boys.
You've been right and I've been wrong. I've been you've been wrong.
Those scenes you just saw with the Main Valley, this is the Kitzingen Officers Club, right across the street from where our quarters were. The boys walking away from the club here. I think they're about to... This is a parade we had at Kitzingen, the 10th Infantry Division. The whole division was brought in here to our airfield where I had my tanks, and this is the parade, the division review. First part going by with the commanding general leading off, followed by the band. 10th Infantry Division band. They have mass colors, all the colors for the various battalions of the division. This is the tank battalion, and I'm commanding this at the time, the foot elements here. 62nd Tank Battalion, and I'm in front there, the staff. Mazzetta's taking the picture. And they go to present arms, passing the reviewing stand.
I wish you could be a friend of mine. I wish you could learn to play with mine. Say I'll bring my life away.
There goes the battalion by, with the yellow guidons for the cavalry. This is the scout dog outfit that we had in the 10th Division. All German Shepherds, I think. I believe they are. Yeah. Now here's the mounted element of the battalion. Major Akins led this element. These are all the tanks and track vehicles for our battalion. Here we are back home in Kitzingen in our new apartment building. This is Kathy in one of her first appearance on film, on movie film, with Mazzetta. Yeah. This is Kitzingen.
When you used to love me, before you learned to think you were above me. If I dream the same every night.
We're driving through Kitzingen now, through the town, and we have a leaning tower of Kitzingen, not Pisa, but we're going, driving through the town, and I think we will soon see the leaning tower. And there it is. It is similar to the one in Pisa, which I have seen. And it leans about the same, but it's not that famous. We're still inside the car going across the Mine River and
Back to Harvey Barracks.
back to the post, Harvey Barracks.
And if I dream
Kathy again, and she's probably 3 months.
finds me holding you tight with love, just knowing that our love is good as new. And maybe I can make a dream come true.
This is taken from our balcony outside our back window. We had a shepherd who would graze his sheep real often in the backyard, in the back lot. This is Richard. This is Mikey and Richard looking out over the balcony. And there's Kathy sleeping. She was beautiful, even then. Mikey running. Richard coming from church, I believe. This is a picnic of some sort. I don't know. At the Officers Club. Maybe an East. I don't know. All three riding a statue of a horse outside the Officers Club. I mean, sitting on a statue of a horse, and it's still there. Some sort of picnic. We can't remember.
It was around Easter time. I think they had an Easter egg hunt.
Maybe it was an Easter egg hunt.
Trying to tell them I've been there.
It's a two-legged race or three-legged race. This is again Grandma and Richard and Robert, and I think it's at the Officers Club, and maybe Mike. No, it's at a castle in Switzerland, isn't it? No, just a minute.
This is King Ludwig's castle on the in the island, on an island in the Riesa Sea lake down south of Munich on the road to Salzburg, Austria.
The reason Richard isn't there, we now remember, is the fact that he had had tonsil ear infection, rather, and I stayed home in the hotel. I stayed in the hotel with him while they took this trip.
They took this tour around the island.
tour.
There's Robbie up front, the driver. Okay.
Find out what's behind the green door. Midnight, one more night without sleeping, watching till the morning comes peeping.
This is on the boat coming back from Kempsey, which is on a little island in the middle of Kempsey. We're now on the way back by boat to our hotel where we were staying. We're now arriving back at the hotel. This is the hotel we stayed at Kempsey. There's Mo and Richie greeting us as we get out of the boat and coming back to the hotel.
I never thought that love would be so crazy, crazy as maybe.
This is in Austria. When we went down from Kempsey down to Salzburg, Austria, and we visited Mozart's home. This is a statue of Mozart, and these scenes were taken on the street of Salzburg.
Funny, there's no explaining what's gonna bother me. There's nothing I can do but hope that you love me too. I've tasted glamour love that twinkles up above and fades just like a shooting star. But now I'm back on earth.
That's actually the home of Mozart. It's the front door. We just looked at the inscription beside the door there, Grandma and I, as we walked around town.
What's come over me? There's nothing I can do. I'm so in love with you.
This is back at Kempsey now, in front of our hotel.
We must be out of our minds. Still we are shipmates bound for tomorrow, and everyone here's blind. Oh, we must believe in magic. We must believe in the guiding hand. If you believe in magic, you have the universe at your command. Bound for Alpha Centauri, dreamers and poets and clowns. Bold is the ship bound for Alpha Centauri. Nothing can turn it around. Oh, we must believe in magic. We must believe in the guiding hand. If you believe in magic, you have the universe at your command.
This is the Eagle's Nest in Berchtesgaden. That shot was just looking up. And this is in downtown Berchtesgaden. The Eagle's Nest was Hitler's famous retreat in World War II.
You have the universe at your command.
This is just a panorama of Berchtesgaden taken from the Walton H. Walker Hotel where we stayed.